Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is really an impromptu video, not planned, really not even thought out. The other day I was working on a project that kind of went awry and I started video logging the issue I was having and figured what better thing to do than share with you guys, because it is not all perfect. It doesn't always all work out the way you want, and issues happen with certain pieces of furniture. So as this was happening, I started to video it, and then I thought I'm gonna throw it all together and share with you guys. So the issue I was having was a chemical reaction on a dresser top that I was working with, and I wanted to showcase what the issue was, how I fixed it, and what some of the options were to fix this. And in the end, it did get fixed, so it was not a huge ordeal. But I wanted to share with you guys in case you've ever experienced it, or let you know that it is real life and it does happen. Not every piece comes out beautiful and not every piece is easy to work with. So let's go ahead and show you what I've got.
I want to show you something. I get asked all the time, if I'm sanding my piece down to bare wood, do I need to prime it before I paint it? My answer is usually yes. If you're going to sand anything down to bare wood, prime it before you paint it. You'll get a really nice smooth finish, but that's not the only reason why. I'm going to flip the camera here and show you guys what happened. I had to sand this top down to bare wood because it was just in really not good condition to paint it, and it had a bad reaction. So I'd rather have it have a bad reaction with my primer and try to fix it than my paint. All right, so what you're looking at is a chemical reaction. Something underneath that wood, it was pretty damaged. It looked like there was a lot of spills, and so this could be some sort of a chemical, an oil, what have you. This is an old piece, but look how badly my primer reacted. So how am I going to go ahead and remedy this? Once this primer dries, because it's still wet, then I'm going to go ahead and sand it down, and I'm going to try to go over it again with more primer. So we'll see what happens. But you know, how sad would we be if this happened with our paint? It's better to have happened with our primer. Okay, so how did I remedy that? How did I fix that? Well, what I ended up doing as I started sanding it and noticing that there was a lot of high and low spots where that reaction was happening, so what I decided to do was fill those high and low spots where it looked so horrible. Like right here, you can see them all, right? So I filled those, and then I will sand that smooth and reprime, and hopefully that will cure our reaction problem. So yeah, part of it is fine, and then part of it just went crazy. So like I said, what that can be is a reaction from furniture polish. I mean, this piece is old. This was a grandmother's piece of my client, so it's been around a while, and it can have a buildup, and that's quite possibly what we're looking at. But it was just really bad.
So yesterday I showed you the reaction I got and then how I was going to try to remedy that. And so what I ended up doing is I primed one coat, and then I saw everything reacting, and I thought, oh no, okay, this is not working. So what I did was, it seemed like where it was reacting, I had very big high and low spots. So I let it dry. I went ahead and I took some wood putty filler, and I very thinly went over it in those areas, let that dry, sand it down, reprimed, and I was able to remedy the issue. So when I reprimed for the second time though, I saw that there were several other spots that were popping up doing the same thing. So the crazy part is, before I primed this, I had sanded it down to bare wood and you couldn't see any of this. So see, this is what happens. When a reaction happens, a lot of times we can't see it and we think we're all good to go. So that is a really great reason why you want to prime, because if it's going to react to the primer, it for sure is going to react to the paint. So it's better to have to deal with it at the primer level than when you've got your paint finish on there. So I'm going to show you guys now what it looks like, but what I ended up doing was letting it sit overnight, and then came back this morning, gave it one final coat of primer, and I'm good to go. Now the other solution to this would have been to go ahead and stop what I was doing. I could have gone and gotten some shellac. I don't have any here in the shop. I don't use it hardly ever, so it's just not something I have on my shelves. But I could have gone and went with the shellac, because the shellac will definitely seal in a lot of those issues. but wanted to try to remedy it this way first because it wasn't too bad. It was only certain spots of the top of the piece. I thought I'm gonna give it a try. So it worked. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys now how that looks. Okay, so here is the top here. It is completely fixed and finished and way better. What you see up there are just some fine sanding marks that I had. I usually go ahead with a 320 grit after I've primed to knock it down a little bit and just make it super buttery smooth, which it is now. So you remember seeing it yesterday, how poor it looked, and today it's all fixed and ready for paint. So I'm super okay, you guys, so here is the final finished product, and as you can see, it came out so incredibly nice. All right, you guys, that is it. We are at the end of the video. I hope that was helpful for you guys. I wanted to share that experience with you because bad experiences are experiences too, and they happen. So hopefully if this doesn't happen to you, but if it does, you may be able to use this video as a reference for what do I do? How can I fix it? As I mentioned in both of the earlier segments, there are different ways you can remedy this. I wanted to try what I had on hand, and because I was seeing such a difference in a high and a low spot on the piece because of the reaction after I sanded it, I felt like if I filled those low sections, it could build it up. And that's exactly what it did. So it takes a little patience sometimes because, as I mentioned, a lot of times you won't see that reaction. I sanded that down to bare wood and it looked perfectly fine, like every other piece I've ever done. And the minute I hit it with that primer, boom, there went the reaction. So glad it happened with my primer and not my paint, because that's just a bummer when you start to use your expensive paint product and this happens. So it's better for it to happen when you prime it. I always suggest priming bare wood because this can happen. Plus, it also allows that wood grain to kind of be suppressed and not have that wood grain rise. With water-based products, it can have that wood grain rise a little bit and create not such a smooth surface to the touch. For looking at it, it would be fine, but when you touch it, it's not as ultra smooth. So I always do prime when I do my bare wood projects with paint. So there you go. If you have any questions or positive comments, please don't hesitate to put them down below. I will always answer your questions and I love hearing your comments. Thank you guys for being subscribers. Thank you for watching today, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.